I want to start off with what AMC has been doing lately. They just cooked up a partnership with Zoom to where they want to create spaces within AMC theaters and make Zoom rooms, as I'm seeing the
Oh,
terminology
they're
on the
branding
article I
it?
saw.
Zoom room.
I don't know if it's a branding thing. That's just the way it's described on the article I read. And it looks like pretty much these Zoom rooms are going to have, the quality of the display and the sound that AMC would provide, but they would just be rooms set up for meetings. They would be aligned in 3-hour chunks. So I guess if you would go online to book a Zoom room, it would be a 3-hour window. And the auditorium size is supposedly between 75 to 150 seats, but they haven't made a set number yet.
I find it's interesting because we have often counseled our clients and stuff on how do you diversify the offerings in the auditoriums, because in reality the theater is a venue, and you have a venue with seats and equipment and projection equipment, sound equipment, and all this. Is there something else you can do with that space that's not just about showing movies, like that will offer different avenues and streams of revenue? And so, corporate training was something a lot of smaller theaters should get into and offer to other businesses in the community, because you do want to have a business to business relationship.
We've had dozens of our theaters participate in these, whether it's for manufacturing or for required safety trainings, medical offices, for HIPAA trainings.
Just any kind of corporate training where you got to get your staff together. It's really fun to do it at a theater. You get access to the concessions. It's mostly people just watching videos and stuff, and maybe getting walked through
and you
things.
can block out time and have a huge group of people go through these, because most corporate structures don't have room for 300 employees just to sit down and watch a video.
Yeah. So it's always...
How should Angela handle this situation?
So it's interesting because for years we've been encouraging a lot of theaters to do this, and I think on a certain level they have been doing it. AMC is now obviously in a different stratosphere on a corporate level, looking for corporate sponsorships and trying to find ways to do that. I'm not sure a Zoom room is always the best idea, but I think the concept there is good. And I definitely would encourage any smaller venues to really think about what makes your venue special and how can you project and brand and market that for a service out there in the community, especially in a business to business relationship. Because you might get these sponsor training stuff. They might pay you a fee for this rent out, and then they might say, hey, we had such a good experience, why don't we do a kids series, or why don't I sponsor this? And then you've really created that avenue and that relationship on a more consistent basis. So
yeah, in terms of what AMC is doing with Zoom, it sounds like starting in 2023 they're only going to be doing it to 17 locations, but I imagine it's going to be a testing ground for the bigger cities that are going to have like corporations wanting to take advantage of these. So that's why they're thinking like this is a good deal, because there will be possibly a lot of money being given to AMC and as well as Zoom. But for obviously these smaller locations that we are talking about, you're probably not going to get those corporations coming to you, but at least you could get small business awareness, and that could be a good way to have word of mouth of positive things to say about movie theaters, as we're trying to get that word of mouth to be positive and more than just, oh, I was able to see Top Gun again. Like theaters need to also have extra layers as to why people should go back to using movie theaters again.
Right. You need to tap into the community.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, how theaters are going to survive the next 5 years, is by tapping into the community and getting close to either other small businesses or just awareness, like you said. But I just think it's just a good, interesting thing to do. And you should take what AMC does on maybe on a corporate level, bring it down to your local level. And I would not be surprised if there's not corporate headquarters in a lot of these small town locations, that you would be kind of shocked to know that they're there, and that corporate office atmosphere needs to be extended out into the community. So
yeah, it's possible. I mean, at first when I was hearing about this, I kind of rolled my eyes to a bit, just because you're thinking, oh, Zoom. Not only are we thinking, oh, Zoom is back again, but also just in an AMC setting, you want to use Zoom. That's normally for your home, but in like a movie theater situation,
do you want to sit in an auditorium facing a screen and then like
just for a Zoom meeting, just for a work meeting?
Yeah, and there's going to be some logistics, I think, with Zoom and work meetings in particular. But if it is a group corporate business gathering where they all have to do one thing, like Ken said, watch a training video and then maybe walk through it with somebody.
This is more of like a rah-rah thing. This is to promote, to get your employees excited about going in and doing this.
This isn't going to be like group think, like let's all interact together. That's going to be too hard in a setting. But you know, even like I kind of more liken it to a university and a professor student, where the students are there just observing and what the action is happening. And, you know, a lot of these theaters are reseating. They're very comfortable. You've got trays. You can still take notes. It's not like you're without like a desk situation. You don't have to be around a big table or anything for some of this. But it's just that.
And it is a good way if you have, you know, guest speakers, things like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Sure.
Offices.
Maybe you have you bring in a motivational speaker and you want your staff to experience that. It would be so much more fun off-site, more informal. There's a lot of things once you start thinking about.
But you guys are thinking in terms of presentation formats rather than internet calls.
Yeah.
Because I don't really. I mean, first off, you probably shouldn't be using Zoom without like Zoom's awareness of you using it within your own movie theater. I would think that probably might lead into like some logistic problems, but that's just probably not what most of these companies would really be wanting anyway.
These are more 95% the person that's on the screen, or the person that's on the screen versus the 5% like, how's everybody doing today? And then that's your
Let's
end
go
of your
around the table and
that's
talk
the end of
to
your
everybody.
interaction. I do love this idea though that AMC and Zoom are announcing this partnership. It's been almost 3 full years since Zoom became a household word.
Yeah.
Right? Since the pandemic started, everybody's like, Zoom. I mean, my since deceased grandmother was using Zoom to reach out to people.
Yeah.
And now AMC has been reopened for most of their locations for at least 2 full years. And now they're like, yeah, we can do this now. It's like, yeah, it's pretty obvious. I mean, we've had locations doing these corporate trainings, corporate seminars since digital came in.
Yeah.
Since you were able to actually hook up a computer and do something with a projector.
Sure.
Or play a DVD. This has been happening.
I hate to say it wasn't the theater's idea. Businesses approached the theaters to do this.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Businesses have been asking the theaters, hey, can we rent out your space? We have a big meeting, we have a big presentation we want to do.
Usually it's, the ones we've run into are large manufacturing, mining,
hospitals, regional hospitals
that need a space where the people can actually come in and sit and do it together, and they can knock it out in 90 minutes.
Right.
Because then you don't have to have 50 groups coming in, 10 people at a time.
Sure.
And they also like the idea that there's like some concessions and
it's a morale booster.
Yeah, it is a morale booster.
Show a movie at the end of it. Boost that morale. Hey, you guys stuck through the presentation? Here's Indiana Jones.
Like, you're never leaving.
Depending on how long the meeting is, but I would want to treat employees to a movie.
Right.
Kyle.
I mean, that's what we do.
We're in a very special niche industry where we can do things like write off the cost of movie tickets. You can't do that if you're
I know it's not like that everywhere, but wouldn't people want a life like that?
I would think so.
Give the people what they want.
No, get back to work, Kyle.
Yeah.